This show is brought to you by a man so successful, he got a podcast. This is Jeremy McComb, his podcast thing.
Welcome to the 2Dumb2Quit podcast. Happy Tuesday, and hope you are enjoying a little bit of time away, time in. Are you working? Are you not working? And I just thought that this would be a perfect time to reflect on something I've touched on before. I went into some detail, and I just thought that it really fits the situation of uncertainty, quarantine, stuck inside, things canceled, all the shit that we hate as humans, right? All the things that get in the way of the passions and the things that we love and work and all that stuff. So the idea that I wanted to cover today is a Stoic thought of Amor Fati, which translates, it's Latin for the love of fate. Now, I've touched on this before. This idea isn't just something that just comes on 100% right out of the gate, right? I don't think anything in Stoicism is. To me, it's a lot like the philosophy of the Stoics itself. You start with the things that are easy to achieve in the short term, in the situations you're in, and as you practice those, you begin to see it arriving in other areas of your life. In traffic, it started with me in traffic because I used to get so worked up when I would be late or I would be running behind. And then I realized none of this was traffic's fault. It was my fault. You know, what could I have done? I could have left a little earlier, but I didn't. Now I can be mad, stuck in traffic for the next 30 minutes, or I can accept it and say, you know, I'm just going to leave a little earlier next time because there literally is nothing that I can do about this. So when I talk to people about the Stoic stuff, I always try to find the simplest application to the situation through the philosophy, whether it be zooming out, which we've talked about, or being comfortable in discomfort, taking a cold shower 3 times a week, and it really helps you be grateful for like the hot showers when you do take them. Or just the simple step of separating your life into 2 boxes. And that's the one that I normally tell people, which is just a great start, in my opinion, to Stoicism. Separating your life into 2 boxes. 1 box being what you can control, and 1 box being what you can't control. And realizing that if you can control, so, you know, if something comes down the path at you, an obstacle, a hardship of some sort, and you look at it and you say, okay, can I control this? If you can control it, there should be no worry. There should be no stress about it because the outcome of it is in your hands. You can control it. So you put that safely in your can control box. If you look at it and you can't control it, then you can't worry about it because it does no good to worry and stress over shit that is literally out of your control. So that goes in the can't control box, which immediately goes in the trash can, and you can no longer worry about those things. So today the focus is Amor Fati, the love of fate. The concept of Amor Fati is that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, and not to merely bear what is necessary, but to love it. And this thought allows life's tribulations and obstacles to be looked at as a gift. It provided human existence with meaning. Struggles morph into friendly donations to test ourselves that we embrace with open arms. Now, that sounds a little whimsical, right? Kind of a pipe dream, that struggles morph into these friendly donations to test ourselves that we embrace with open arms. That's how it's written. But when you look at this deeper, the same goes for our enemies, rivals, competitors. Respect and love to the people we're competing against is crucial to appreciate the challenge that they're bringing us. And in the process, we become better for it. We become stronger for it. And we build a mental fortitude to withstand the sun and the rain that life throws at you. So that being written like that, it's actually a lot like water. Anybody that's ever been in a flood, anybody that's ever been, you know, when you're looking at the river going by, it's absolutely beautiful. When the river starts coming over the banks and you're throwing sandbags down and you cannot stop the water as it begins to fill up, you know, as Nashville has a few times, but our flood 10 years ago was the first time I was involved in anything that devastating where you just could not stop the water. It didn't matter. And no matter what's around water, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what the obstacle, water eventually finds a way to overcome it. It finds its way through it. And we should all look at life like that, to strive to, and remember that, to be like water, and to try to find love and peace in every moment of it, which is not, this is not an easy thing to master, but it is something that we can practice in our daily lives, not just to bear the difficulty, but to find a way to love it, to find the opportunity in it. Where's my opportunity to be better? Marcus Aurelius, who you hear me talk about a lot, he said, what you throw on top of a fire becomes fuel for the fire. And I think we forget we are the fire. And anything that you throw, or anything that is thrown in your way, any obstacle in your path is the fuel. And the minute I think that you take that to heart and begin to see obstacles as fuel, I think your life changes. It did with me. It did with the people around me who I've seen go through this, and the people that now strive for these obstacles to be better. Amor Fati then transforms us again. Once you buy into that, it transforms us again to actually try to love the obstacle, to strive for the obstacle. You don't get the job you wanted. I love it. I wanted it this way. Here's a new challenge. Your flights all get canceled in an airport. There's no way you're getting home. Amor Fati, I chose this. This is good. How do I grow from this? And you could even lump that, into some people's idea of like going with the flow. Musicians and artists and people who travel, I shouldn't say people who travel a lot, because I've seen a lot of business people get very upset at Southwest or flights when they get shut down. But musicians especially, and maybe it's just because I'm around them the most, a lot of these guys have just been in so many weird situations and have been in so many weird positions and circumstances that going with the flow is just kind of a thing you have to do to be able to sustain in this profession, in this career, in this life. And so that kind of lumps into the Amor Fati. But you have to take it a step further. You're locked inside for 2 weeks. I love this. How do you love it? It's erased in my circumstance, it's erased my ability to bring my income because my profession requires travel and open concert venues. I love it. Why? Because it's making me better. It's making all of us better if we choose to see it that way. Or it could be making you worse, but the choice is up to you. It could be making us better at connecting with people who love our music or our art in different ways, finding new ways to connect, to get closer, to strengthen that bond. It could be us being better parents or more attentive spouses or loved ones. It gives us no excuse to not make the calls to people that we love, that we haven't made. Yeah. And we're all guilty of it. If you've ever called me, you know what my voicemail is, which I just changed it, so you should call and listen because it actually is pretty funny again. But it pretty much just says, I don't do voicemails. I'm not going to return this. I'm not going to listen to it. If I didn't answer, I'm sorry I couldn't get to the phone. Send me a quick text or a courier pigeon or some smoke signals or something. But I just don't take the time for voicemails. And I think it takes away our excuses to not be the people we want to be to the people who love us. And the times that we're living in right now were made for this, for the love of fate, for the love of our fate. Because you can look at yourself and say, I'm growing from this. You can see it. You can feel it. I'm feeling shitty because I can't work, or I can't do the things I'm passionate about. But that feeling should remind us that we're alive. You're still in the game. You're still fighting. And this can all be fuel for you and your fire to burn brighter, to move stronger, to be faster, and to grow. And no amount of discourse, this is the other thing too, is no amount of anger, you being pissed off, none of it is going to change the circumstances right now. And I know a lot of guys who are in my position who can't work are in a position where it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But this gives us an opportunity to figure it out and to look at it and say, if I'm miserable right now, maybe it's not the situation that needs to change. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's the way I look at things. Maybe I need to look at things in a different light. I need to take a different stance on this, because most of the time, if you cannot control it and you can just change your expectations of it, it will make you such a happier person. Worrying, stress, And allowing a circumstance 100% out of your control is not going to end this. It's just not. So I think you have to say, how do we improve from this? How do I get better? It doesn't matter what situation I'm in right now, Amor Fati. There's a story that I love. I originally read it in a book by Ryan Holiday called Ego is the Enemy. It's an amazing story about Thomas Edison's factory burning to the ground in 1914. And Thomas Edison calmly walks over to his son as he's literally watching a fire destroy his entire life's work, everything. And this building had film in it. The factory had all this film in it that was highly flammable. It had all these chemicals in there. And this fire is burning, they describe it as this rainbow blaze of a 5-alarm fire. I think it took down 9 buildings by the end of it. And Edison walked over to his son as this awesome, gigantic, colorful fire engulfed his life's work. He walks over to his son and tells him, go get your mother and all of her friends. They will never see a fire like this again. And his son objects. Dad, I can't. This is our life. And Edison says, all we did is just he said, it's all right. We just got rid of a lot of rubbish. And later, at the scene of the fire, Edison was quoted by the New York Times as saying, although I'm 67 years old, I'll start it all over again tomorrow. So imagine your life's work is burning in front of your eyes, and you take the opportunity to tell people to go get other people because they will never see something like this again. They will never see a fire like this again. And then it removed a lot of trash standing in your way as you start over. He told a reporter days after the fires they were cleaned up, he said, this is all just going to keep me from getting bored, from getting complacent. Amor Fati. It's the love of fate. And I think we can all take this approach, and we can choose this approach, and we can rebuild without whining or complaining. We can stay in and become a more nurturing parent. We can get better at our art. We can write. We can connect with people who love our music or love our art or our photography. We can do all that by still taking care of the situation at hand. And I think that this is how we must approach every obstacle on our path. It's not just the virus. It's not just the thing that's going on in our country right now. It's whatever the next thing is and whatever the next thing is, because this is life. It's a redundant recapture of the things that, the obstacles get bigger, you overcome it, the obstacles get bigger. And for some people, we all know these people where they're like, I just can't catch a break. Every time I get to the foot of the mountain, it gets taller. They throw another rock on there. And when you start looking at the obstacle as the fuel that keeps you burning, whatever the obstacle is, tragic, happy, we lose someone we love, fair, not fair. This is how we become great and present and truly happy. By loving our fate, by accepting it, and by using all this as fuel for our fire to be better. So that, in a nutshell, friends and neighbors, is Amor Fati, the love of our fate. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for sharing the 2Dumb2Quit podcast with your friends. And I also do want to take a quick moment just to shout out to some dear friends of mine in the Joe Diffie camp. Joe Diffie passed away late last week or over the weekend from the virus, and just wanted to send shouts out and love, and that we're thinking about all those guys in their difficult time, and hopefully this helps some people through that. But if you're struggling with the circumstances that are surrounding it, change your life by changing your mind, by the amount of things that you put importance on, and by the estimate of our thoughts. That is the thing that's going to keep you sane. That is the thing that's going to get you through it. I hope all of you are doing great. And want to remind you guys to keep checking out the YouTube page, which is youtube.com/official Jeremy McComb. I've been putting up new episodes of the work. Today, actually, I was super bored as I was getting ready to come down here and do the podcast. And so I shaved off everything but a terrible mustache. And I walked downstairs and got Courtney's reaction and the kids' reaction to it. So I'm clean shaven. I look like I'm about 12 years old right now. So if you see the cover videos I'm going to be uploading here tomorrow in the next few days, or going into the live stream shows that I'm doing this weekend, you might see a 14-year-old Jeremy singing you some songs. Don't worry, I haven't lost my mind, and I'm not sick or anything. I just got bored and shaved it off because I never have a chance to look ridiculous. So it's the 2Dumb2Quit podcast, friends and neighbors. Thank you so much for listening. If you're enjoying it, if you're getting something out of it, share it with 3 of your friends. Put it on your Facebook page, and make sure you're subscribing over at YouTube and over at my Instagram, which is @McCombOver. It's your old pal Jeremy. Have a great Tuesday, friends, and keep an eye out on my Facebook and Instagram page because I'm going to be announcing this week's live stream shows along with this shaving video, which is it's pretty funny. So let me know what you think, and cheers, friends.